Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Business Talk with Marg. I'm Margarita Amplo from MCA Consulting. We're here live at Rip Roaring Production Studio in Westchester. MCA Consulting is an organization that helps you grow your business the modern way by providing you business development services. And I'm excited today to introduce you to Gary Kurtis, Principal of Sales Tips 101. After a long professional sales career, he decided to go ahead and share his passion of decades of successful sales experience with other small business owners. Thanks again for joining us today, Gary.
Great. Thank you, Marge. It's great to be here.
Great. Well, thank you. So you started your career in corporate America. So tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. So I had my undergraduate degree in marketing, and I love marketing, had great professors, and I thought that's exactly what I want to do. And then you find out reality sets in. I started doing some interviewing, and they said, well, you know what? You don't have any experience in marketing. Why don't you just start out in sales? Now, I had just attended a time-sharing presentation, and I thought that's the last profession I want anything to do with.
Right.
And they said, well, I started in sales anyway. And that really became a reflection of how I sold because I never wanted to be like them. So I started out in sales. 40 years later, here I was still in sales, and I did sales management. I mentored a lot of reps. And I always took great pride in the fact that every single year, particularly one company I worked with for a long time, 20 years, I always had the top team in the company. So I really took pride in all the reps that I managed. I loved doing that. That became a passion.
That's great. That's awesome. So what inspired you to start your business, Sales Tips 101?
Sure. So when my corporate life ended, I thought, well, I want to do something. And that's what I love doing. I was very passionate about it. And I realized that there's going to be a lot of mistakes that salespeople make. I've made so many of them. So I really wanted to be able to take my passion and help others so they could get in the right direction, not make mistakes, and really have the type of success that they deserve.
That's awesome.
And that really was a big impact for me.
That's great. Now, through the different types of sales programs that you have, I believe you do conduct a group workshops as well as individual type of coaching. Can you share a little bit more about how you make these workshops and individual coaching more customized to the client?
Yeah, so, I had to decide what I want to do and how do I want to do it. There's a lot of really good sales training programs out there, and they tend to appeal to the masses. They come in. It's really kind of a cookie cutter type of approach. I've attended many of them over my career. And I recognized that partially due to the pandemic, you had a lot of people that had been laid off. They found themselves in a new position, new role, startup, franchise, whatever.
Right.
And they're going to learn everything they have to learn. They're going to make mistakes. And those people really need a custom program, something that really addresses what their needs are and so forth. So I decided, and this is really pretty much how I always sold anyway, let's put together a program that is really for them, where I'm going to take the time to really understand what exactly are you trying to accomplish, what are your goals, what are all the things that are keeping you from getting those goals, what are all your challenges and so forth, and put together programs for them. And I do it in groups, and I do it even with individuals. I've handled every type of industry you can imagine.
Right.
Actually, my typical client, if you looked at their business card, it actually doesn't say sales rep. It could be anything because, let's face it, everybody really is in sales. And I do this, unlike the big guys that are going to come in and charge you a boatload of money. I do it with a very reasonable rate structure because my clients, let's face it, they don't have all these thousands and thousands of dollars, but they still have the same needs. And they have the needs for the same resources and for large company resources. And that's really what I'm providing is large company resources, leveraging my 40-year sales career to give them exactly what they need to be successful. And I get success that way.
That's great. Yeah, but I do find the need out there with the smaller organizations, and that's what MCA does as well. We, help provide them with the background of corporate, but not having to pay the prices that the larger
Right, because
companies.
they still need the same. They have the same needs. Exactly.
Right, exactly. That's awesome. So, could you give us an example of how you work typically with a client?
Yeah. So what I really want to do is understand, from everything, what exactly their objectives are. And I'll spend a lot of time in the first session. It's really going to be, if I do my job correctly, 90% them. I'm asking them as much information as I can get about what exactly you're trying to accomplish. It's open-ended. Tell me everything about your objectives. it's almost like, where exactly are you trying to go? You know, here's like this magic wand, you can go anywhere. Tell me your vision. What do you want to do? And then the next thing I do is I ask them about their strengths, because very often I find that people are not leveraging their strengths.
Right.
And I want to know an awful lot about that. And then what is keeping you from being successful? And this is where I have to ask them, you got to be frank. You got to tell me what exactly are all of the areas that you really feel you need help, and go from there. From that initial session, then I get out my shovel and I do a lot of digging and digging to come up with the next several sessions, a lot of questions to really dig down in what they told me originally, because I want to really do several things. I want to understand exactly what it is that they're really trying to accomplish, what are those things that are keeping them. And then what I'll do during the sessions is I make them very interactive. I want to make them fun. I want everybody to be happy and laughing, and I want to have a lot of fun, because that's how I sell anyway. And what I'll do is I'll share with them a lot of examples of, geez, I was in that situation. This is how I handled it. What do you think? It's an awful lot of sharing, suggesting, and so forth. What I don't do, because this is how I don't sell, is I don't tell them this is exactly what you want to do now, because that doesn't work. No one likes to be told what to do.
Right.
So I'll give them a lot of suggestions, because ultimately they have to come up with their own plan under my guidance, but they're going to come up with their own plan, which is basically going to be, these are the things I'm going to do to be successful. The reason that that's important is, number one, they're only going to do it if it initiates from them. Number two, the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold them accountable to say, look, these are the things that you came up with, and you're going to do these things to be successful. Because there's two things. If you're going to be my client, I can guarantee you success if you're open-minded, and if you follow through on the things that you decided make sense based on all of the sessions that we've had.
Now, after you come up with the plan for the client, do you help them execute it, or is that something that they do on their own, and then maybe you check back in with them a little bit
It's
later?
really a combination, Marg, where I'm going to review with them on a regular basis. I'm really into role playing, so I'll ask them to think about what happened during the sessions that you had. And we'll get together periodically and just review what's working, what isn't working. You know, you want the train to stay on the track, so to speak. You know, the football coach gets to spend the whole week training with the team, but then he or she is on the sidelines on Sunday and doesn't have a lot of control over what happens. So I want to make sure that we get together periodically. And that's why when I have a client, I'm asking for a minimum commitment of 6 months, ideally at least a year, because you're not going to do much after 3, 4, 5 sessions. We want to get together to review on a regular basis what's working, what isn't working, because I tell them right up front, I know a lot of things that work. I know even more things that don't work. I want to keep you from the stuff that doesn't work. I don't want you making the mistakes. I've made mistakes. I got really, really good only because I made so many mistakes and I tried to learn from them.
Right, you learn from your mistakes. So that's great that you stay with the client and you're making sure that they're following through, because that's half the battle. I mean, you get a new toolbox of different things to try, and then they kind of get forgotten.
Yeah, they do. And things change too. I mean, there's a lot of factors that can impact that.
That's great. That's great information. So what's the best way for our viewers to get in contact with you, Gary?
Email is probably the best way, or phone, either one. I think you're posting all of my contact information. One of the things I try to emphasize is that I provide a free initial consultation. If you've heard anything here that can help, that you think could help, I love to talk to people. It's free. It's all upside. If you go to my website, I am so fortunate that I've got a lot of great testimonials from people who've gotten to know me, who will vouch for the fact that I really do get results. I try to make it a great experience for everybody. They enjoy it. It's interactive. And the most important thing is they get the results that they're looking for. And, you know, I try to say that I have a very reasonable fee, and I even pay my way if I'm doing my job, because let's face it, I'm trying to help my clients to increase their sales. So I'm really paying my way. That's
awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us today. And I hope that you have helped some small businesses out there and, helping them benefit for this information. And definitely feel free to reach out to him for a free consultation. It doesn't hurt.
No, all upside.
Right. And if you feel that, you're kind of stuck and you need to make some changes, you definitely need somebody from the outside to help you and give some advice to you.
Great.
So thanks again for joining us here at Business Talk with Marg. If you would like to be a guest, please reach out, and hope to see you soon. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Marg. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.